Welcome back. This is another episode of the podcast.
He said bullshit.
There you go. My name is Benza, and I have my co-host here, Dan, with me.
Yeah, hello.
Dan, you had a new toy arrive in like the last...
Yes.
I want to say 24 hours?
Yeah, less than that, I think, yeah.
Oh, you
12 hours or
so happy about it.
Yeah, it's a newborn. It's a newborn baby.
Talk to me.
It's the 17 to 28 Tamron lens. I don't think... Did we discuss this last episode, this specific lens? I don't remember.
I think we mentioned something about Tamron, but not necessarily this.
We mentioned Tamron, but not necessarily this lens. I don't think so. But it's this super wide lens that Sony was in a desperate need for, with autofocus, of course. There's lots of like wide manual lenses out there. I have a 14 millimeter myself, Rokinon. But this it's wide, and there's autofocus there, and the f-stop is 2.8. So things get really, really creamy, really nice and creamy.
And Sony has like good autofocus now.
Yes, it does.
So you can put that camera towards your face and you can see.
I can vlog with it now, basically, because before I was vlogging with my 14mm Cine lens, which is like fully manual, by the way. And it's huge.
Yeah.
And I'm walking around with like a maniac with this huge thing, right?
Do people look at you weird?
Yes, all the time.
Especially to like filmmakers, because they know that that's a Cine lens. That's not what that's supposed to be.
Yeah. Like when other people with cameras are walking by me, they give me the look like, "What are you doing, man?" It's like,
yeah.
But hey, dude, you got to use the tools that you have.
Absolutely.
Right? If you wait for the right tool for forever, you're never gonna do anything. Right?
Nothing.
It's like it's called the toolbox fallacy. Actually,
I think
if you constantly wait for the perfect tool, you're never gonna get it, because there is no perfect tool, right?
Absolutely.
But there's a perfect what do I want to say? There's a perfect mindset that you can have,
Absolutely.
which is get shit done.
Absolutely.
Right?
I think it's hilarious that you mentioned that, because I was looking at another video earlier, or maybe I was browsing on Instagram. It was browsing on Instagram, and I was looking at Chris Howe's post. And in that, he said that you just need to get going. Like, you don't need to have the perfect gear to make anything. You just have to have that mindset to just get going.
Yeah, most directors would tell you the same thing, that the best way to learn how to make a film is to go out and make one.
Absolutely.
That's the best way. Make the mistakes that you have to make. We all do. I mean, I still do. That's the thing.
Oh, we all do.
We still all do mistakes. Make mistakes. There's this like line of thought that if you start working with something professionally, that's when the mistakes end. No. If anything, you're making more, because now you're working with it.
Absolutely.
You're doing more of it, right?
Absolutely.
And everything. And obviously those mistakes like get less and less as you grow as an artist, but it's a constant learning process.
Yeah.
Life, I mean.
Yes.
So you're going to make mistakes no matter what.
Yeah.
Right? So just go out and make them. Don't be afraid.
Absolutely. You just got to get out there, and you got to start doing things so that you can show those things. Build your portfolio, build your brand, build your filmmaking skills, build everything. Anything
that you do, right? Not necessarily just photography, but just like if you have an inclination towards any kind of like artistic endeavor.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid that you don't have the proper tools to do it. There's always the beginner starter tool, right?
Yeah.
And you can do a lot with that.
Here, just make things, and then the money will come in for you to get new and shinier toys.
Exactly. Like I just did last night with this amazing lens that I haven't been able to actually like pick it up and use it, because last night it was a pretty hectic day, and I picked it up. I think it was like 7:30 at night, right?
Oh my gosh.
So,
okay. Yeah.
So I took shots of like the dog and
absolutely,
and then,
as you have to.
Yeah, exactly. It's necessary, right? Of the cat, just to see how wide it really is, and it's like, oh man.
Now you have seen my 16 to 35.
Yeah.
Regular lens, like it's not a Cine lens, in action, and you have always been loving it because it's super wide. It's so dramatic. You can get so much into this frame.
Yeah.
And the fact that I just checked out yours. It's wide, and even though it's like a millimeter, like more punched in, being at 17 instead of 16, it's still absolutely amazing.
It's like 1 millimeter. You can't really tell the difference, right? From the 28 to 35, absolutely. There is a significant difference there, but 16 to 17, like it's not that big of an issue at all. So I'm excited. Yeah. It cost me an arm and a leg, but you know what? That's
just like any other gear now.
Exactly. But that's why we work with it, right? So we can afford this shit.
Absolutely.
Right, dude. I haven't been able actually to make money with this yet.
Oh, because you're investing everything back into gear.
I wish people understood that. Like, clients, when you have to up the price because you are acquiring all this gear and everything.
Absolutely.
And there's a bit of a pushback when you work with somebody and you're giving them a new price. Right?
Oh, yeah.
There's always, right? They think like, why? What changed? Well,
absolutely.
My camera changed, my lens changed, the backpack, everything changed, and you need this shit to shoot exactly what you asked me to shoot.
Totally.
So the money goes right back to that,
yeah.
right? In the first years, absolutely, and it's been like that for me because it's just like I get the money and it's like right back to camera gear,
totally,
and like not even just the big stuff, like small stuff too, like like hard drives, ND filters, hard drives, SD cards,
dude,
all the stuff that you have to constantly spend money with,
yep.
right? Because hard drives, as photographers and videographers, you don't erase your footage.
No,
you don't delete your footage.
No,
ever. Okay, anybody listening out there who's a photographer or a videographer,
keep your footage.
Keep your footage. I don't care if you didn't like it, what you shoot. Just put it away. Keep it. You never know what you can do with it later.
It's all demo reel material. At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, yes, it is.
You might not see that shot, or you might not color grade it a certain way, but then you revisit it. It's the same thing with like any other creative endeavors. You kind of like let it be for a little bit and then you come back to it and you take another look at it and you're like, oh, okay, this is what I know now. Here's what I can do with this now. I was re-looking at some footage from Budapest when I went back home. Mm-hmm. And it was all recorded with the DJI Spark, which nowadays the Spark is, dude, it's outdated.
Oh, completely.
It does not have a lot of dynamic range. It can really push the shadows and the highlights, and it just looks compressed. And when I mean
it's
compressed,
like a flying GoPro. Kind
of almost.
It doesn't. You can't. It's kind of hard to pair the image of a Spark with something else that you're shooting, like your Canon, or like if you're shooting with a Sony and you're trying to cut from your Spark image to now you have like a handheld like shot. You're doing a lot of color correcting. I imagine.
With this, for all those people that don't know, the Spark is like one of the entry drones of DJI. The big company that makes all the drones and the big fancy stabilizers for cameras. And it's like $600 now, like with the Fly More kit. Mm-hmm. That comes with the remote. It comes with the actual drone. It comes with some propellers. $600, and that gets you a flying, operating 1080p drone, which is actually like quite neat if you think about it.
I'm gonna do 1080p in quotes here just because
it's
1080p,
but it's very compressed.
Because
the quality is not like
there are so many shitty cameras out there that just love to boast high def 1080p and then like looks more like 360.
Absolutely. Like it's the lowest compression on YouTube. You just don't even want to look at it because you see the pixels individually. So I went back to that footage. And I started re-looking at it, and I started recolor grading it, even though you can barely color grade that thing to begin with.
Yeah, there's not much you can push, man.
No.
You can make things brighter or darker.
Maybe warmer or colder, but now you're really pushing it.
Now you're really pushing it.
And it's fascinating to me because we were talking about this when we were shooting a music video earlier this week, that the technology that you can acquire now with these this mirrorless cameras, these new drones, like when I was flying my new drone, the Mavic Pro, for this music video, I put everything into the Cinema Log profile. So essentially it's like this super flat image, right? And I put it into editing and I slapped a color grade on. I remember emailing iMessaging because I'm a millennial.
Yeah, that's right. We don't email here.
We iMessage. I remember sending you the footage of just like this one drone shot that we took of the main musician and the actor coming down on these stairs.
Yeah.
And that was color graded. And how, like, I know this was like through like a phone recording of a screen recording. Like it looked absolutely awful compared to like what I see.
But that's the thing though, I could tell even with the whole screen recording of a screen, you can tell there's like good footage there behind it, right?
Absolutely.
If you show me a video, if you send me the video that you shoot with your Spark drone,
it's not gonna be
it's not gonna like translate that well. It's not gonna be. And that's the thing, the only reason why you would buy a drone is because you want very aesthetically pleasing shots. You want the quality to hold. You want the shit to really show, right? Because that's a drone shot it ups your production value like
by miles.
tenfold in any video, right? That perspective adds so much because we're used to seeing that in commercials and movies and everything. So when you see it in a smaller video, now you're kind of like, oh wow, okay, I'm sitting down for this. Yeah, I'm sitting down for this. I'm watching it. So if that is the purpose, you can't like phone it in. It can't be like half measures, right? You have to go all in. Or don't invest the money. That's the way I see it.
Absolutely.
Either go all in and get a very good drone, like you did with the Mavic, right? Or like don't, or just invest in like lenses or other cameras or something like that, because you're gonna get more out of it.
Absolutely.
Quality wise, if you spent like $600 on a new lens, you're gonna be able to shoot like some amazing content, right? Compared to spending it on the Spark drone.
I think it's also important for people to realize what they're shooting and how they're shooting it and investing in that right gear.
Yeah.
For example, for me, I shoot a lot of kind of like Instagram videos, like very small little online promos and stuff, as well as a buttload of pictures. And so the two main lenses that I use are the 16 to 35 2.8 L series lens, which is super wide. I use it for pretty much all my videos because I can get up nice and close. But if I want to have that super wide look, I can totally get that. With the 28 to 70, it's also a 2.8 lens, and I use it for weddings, especially for photography when you and I work together.
Yeah.
And it's neat because it covers a wide variety of focal ranges, which is awesome. It costs a little bit, but that's the investment that you have to make in order to up your prices, to up your value, to up your production, the products
and to meet
that
demands, right?
Absolutely.
Because that's basically, the reason why we reinvest the money into camera gear is because the demand for different things, different shots and everything, it never stops, right, from client to client. There's always like a demand that you can't reach because you don't have the gear. So then you have to rent it, right?
Absolutely.
I prefer to like own it, right? Of course, like renting there's some things that you're always kind of just rent,
You
right?
have to, yeah.
Like a jib crane, you're not going to buy that shit, right? You're just going to rent it. But there's some things like lenses, right? When you start shooting with a certain lens, you fall in love with it.
Absolutely.
You can't give and then renting is like you have to give it back. Like it's like a breakup.
It's like robbing.
Yeah, it's like a breakup. It's like but we just had our first date together, and I thought
we held hands.
Yeah, we held hands. We talked about kids and our future, and now
on the first date.
Yeah,
that's heavy.
That's true love, man. Okay. But that's what I'm saying. When you shoot something with a lens, like you get so attached to it.
Absolutely.
Right? That's why people love 35. That's why people love 50
the
mil.
nifty 50. Yes.
Right? That's why people only shoot with certain lenses because they fall in love with that look, and now they take it wherever they go.
And it also becomes like very much like a stylized thing too.
It becomes almost like your signature or your calling card when you use certain angles or just certain lenses and everything. And especially like a 35 mil because everything's shot on that, right? That and the 50,
it looks so
much shit, and it looks so good. But so yeah, I like to just buy it just because, well, some of the gear, because it's hard to give it away once you know how much your production value has been, upped by a new lens and by or a new body or something like that.
Absolutely.
It's hard to give it back.
You know what? It's also it's budget straining. You were talking about clients like maybe not understanding or not accepting the fact that we're upping our prices. But let's just do like a little bit of a breakdown of like what it would be to just rent all this stuff for not even like talent, but just for cameras. So you have at least equipment.
You have the equipment.
So a standard camera that records 1080p at 60 frames per second in a decent quality. Might I add decent quality because you said there's a lot of demand for this stuff.
Yeah.
So it has to be decent. It can't be like super amateur looking. No. You can get an amateur camera for like $500, $600, almost like $800 now, and it seems like a lot of money. But when you look at the video quality out of that,
it's not.
It's
just not. It doesn't translate. I remember when my first camera was like a Rebel T3i.
Oh, right? Amazing.
Right, and
everyone's first camera had to be
it's the
Rebel.
Rebel, yeah, exactly. It was my first camera, and I came in like super blind. I came in obviously wanting to do video, which there was always my main motivation, right?
Absolutely,
I want to do video and everything. And I bought that Rebel camera, thinking naive young me, that that I could shoot like potentially short films with this, and this is gonna be amazing because
It's really good for music videos.
it's good.
Actually.
It's good for photos. I think it's
Yeah.
good for photos. It's good for music videos because music videos, the direction and the visual style changes from director to director. So
Totally.
some images don't have to be crisp and clean. Sometimes you want
That grainy
grade and
look.
yeah,
Yeah.
to look kind of like amateur a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I think those you can't do a whole video like that. Those are just kind of peppered moments. Just to me, you just
Yeah.
pepper those in, right? The quality still has to be strong.
Totally.
So I remember taking photos with that camera, and because it still takes nice photos with a nice bokeh behind
Oh, yeah.
you and everything, and it separates you from the background. I thought that it would do the same thing for video.
Absolutely.
The quality would be the same thing, and I was super excited. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna shoot something here, and I shot like an indoor scene of me just using the computer, and it's like daylight, windows are open and everything, and there's like noise on the image, like right off the bat.
And you're
Right?
just
And I'm
already
just
sitting there like,
and I'm
wow,
all-
I spent $800 on this thing.
I'm already going like, I spent $800, and this is, in my view, no different than like a little point and shoot, right? That you
Absolutely. Something
buy
that you
for,
can take with your iPhone in portrait mode.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I was, dude, I was devastated. Then that's when it hit me. Like, I'm gonna have to spend a lot more money to get to that level. This is not gonna be I'll buy a camera and it's gonna be the best camera ever, first camera, like, and I'm gonna stay with that. No,
Yeah.
this is gonna be a process of me constantly spending money
And upgrading.
to meet the demand that like my eyes need, right? That the
Absolutely.
quality need to be strong. So it's quite a lot of money.
It's let's
Just to
let's
have the
break
equipment.
it down.
Just to have the equipment.
Absolutely.
Let's break it down.
Let's break it down. So we're starting with Rebel camera. So like the crappiest of the crappies that you can buy right now. I say quote unquote crappies because it's you can make it look incredible, but at the exact same time, if you don't know what you do with it, like if you don't have the skill whatsoever, it's essentially like an $800 paperweight. Like you just you can't.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, I've seen like shots of like very good shots, like video
Absolutely.
from the Canon, the Rebel.
Yeah.
In the hands of like filmmakers that knew their shit when it came to setting up lights and lighting the room.
Huge aspect.
Which is like it makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
And the quality of the image just like skyrocketed, right?
Totally.
Skyrocketed. But that's not our field. Our field is a very run and gun shoot that you have to shoot in dark lighting. We have to shoot in like horrible weather. We have to shoot in like whatever.
We can't control
We
anything.
can't control anything.
Yeah.
We shoot events, so we can't control that shit, right? It's
Yeah.
live. So for us, we need the right gear.
You do.
Break it down for me.
Okay, so standard rental camera. Let's say you're not even purchasing a camera. Let's just say that you're renting a camera that will give you that visual satisfaction, that visual like demand that you already see. $175 per day, which is decent. It's $175. That's not too much.
Yeah.
However, that's just a body. If you want like an actual lens for it, you're going in between $50 and $150 per day. So let's say if you have a commercial to shoot and you can shoot this all in like one day. Let's say it's like a little ristorante or like a little cafe or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're already spending almost $200 to $350, maybe like $400 just on gear. Because you also need some batteries. You will also need some SD cards.
ND filters and all that kind of stuff.
Totally.
There's a bunch of shit that comes with it, not just
Absolutely.
the camera and lens.
Absolutely. But this is what blows my mind when people look at. I totally understand that money is money, and you have to really work for it in order for you to have it. I totally get that. But at the same time, when you look at what we like filmmakers need to put out just so we can have equipment to shoot with just for a day. This is just a day. Because when you buy it, all this equipment outright, the $175 camera turns into a $3,000 camera.
Yeah.
And you have to spend that money in order for you to be able to shoot that. And I don't think a lot of people understand that because everyone kind of expects like ROI, like immediately, return on investment immediately. But no, I think a lot of people need to understand that you need to invest, which means you might need to burn some cash that you're not going to be seeing again in like a little while because you need to be investing in yourself and in your craft and in your business or whatever it is.
You got to spend money to make money.
Absolutely.
Classic. Also, one thing that you forgot about the expenses of renting the gear is that you have to pay for a hefty security deposit on these cameras.
I totally forgot to mention that.
So for our weddings, for example, where we rent a second body and the 28 to 70 Sony lens, the G series, right?
Yeah, G Master.
The G Master series. We are dropping $3,000
just in security deposit.
For those two things. Just a body and a lens.
Absolutely.
$3,000 down security deposit right off the bat.
Given the fact that it's coming back to us, but you have to have it available.
But you have to have it available. Yeah, exactly. You have to have that money somewhere to be able to rent that gear. You can't do it out of nowhere, right? You have to have a limit on your credit card. And then you have to worry about that gear.
Oh, yeah.
Because if it breaks,
the security deposit is gone.
You're screwed. Yeah, you are screwed. You just spent $3,000. You got nothing to show for it.
Absolutely.
So that's all on us.
Oh, yeah.
All of that stress, all of that, the responsibility, right, on not even how to shoot things, but just on how to acquire the gear and take care of the gear properly, right?
Oh,
all that responsibility is on us.
Massive.
So, yeah, that reflects always, that has to reflect on the price. It's just like how things go.
Oh, and we didn't even go into lens purchasing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. My God.
So we got $3,000 for just a body. Never mind your extra battery that you probably will need if you're shooting for longer than like 3-4 hours. Absolutely. And it depends on your camera manufacturer. For example, your Sony can last roughly like a half a day, like 6 hours. Give or take, depending on how intensively you shoot.
Depending on how long the takes are, yeah.
Totally. My Canon, it uses an LPE6 battery, which is like the most amazing battery that ever was created on this earth, in my opinion. And it lasts me like a solid couple of days if I'm paying attention as to how much I'm shooting. Oh. It's amazing. I love it. And I have like 6 of these batteries. But one battery is like $90.
Yeah.
Just one of those batteries. Which is just like, it blows my mind.
All this crap is like at least it starts at around $100. Most of the stuff.
Absolutely, unless you're going at like filters.
Yeah, filters. You can go the cheaper route. You can go to Amazon and then you buy there. Which you should always buy filters from Amazon, because I swear to God, the price on the ones that you go to Sanio Camera or whatever camera store and everything, it's like you're paying $90 and up. Yeah, and then Amazon you're paying $50.
Given the fact, though, those camera stores need to keep their lights on. So I guess...
true. But you know what? True. But isn't Jeff Bezos like a billionaire?
You have a little eye twitch going on right now. A little
bit. Isn't Amazon one of the biggest multi-billion-dollar companies out there?
100%.
So if they're making crazy amount of money, more than the camera store, and they're able to put out some filters for like $50. Yeah. I think that the camera store can maybe try to do a little bit cheaper.
We're calling you out.
A little bit cheaper. We're just calling you out. I'm not saying the camera store. I'm saying camera stores in general.
In general,
yeah, exactly.
All over the map.
But I guess it's the fact that you're paying for the convenience of walking out of the store already with the filter on your camera, and that also.
Oh, forget that! At this point, you can get Amazon Prime for like, what is it, $70 a year, and you get 2 days shipping.
Dude, I might get my filter for my 17 to 28 right now as we're recording this podcast.
You might as well.
Because I ordered yesterday, and it's a 1-day delivery, so it could be here.
There you go. You hear the doorbell. Little Lexi's gonna go absolutely insane.
Yeah. So if Lexi goes absolutely insane, is because my filter has arrived. Yes.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
But yeah, so here we go. We have a camera. We have the lens. Which is the lens? Okay, so lens, the G Master that you, for example, mentioned, is about $3,000, and it's heavy as hell. Again, another big expense that you have to make if you just want that. If you just want to meet the demand.
Yeah. Then there's like stabilizing.
Oh, I didn't even go into
right? Because you're not going to shoot. Most of these things we're not shooting handheld. Yeah. For videos, right? Specifically for video, of course. Mm-hmm. I'm not shooting handheld because, again, the demand is people want stabilized footage.
Absolutely.
That's what they want.
They don't want the amateur handheld looking.
That's what they see in videos. That's what they see in commercials. That's what they see in other weddings. That's what they want. So that's another thing that you have to get. Absolutely. You basically you have to meet the demand. And to meet the demand, you have to spend more money.
And it's interesting because even if you rent all this stuff, if you rent a lens, a camera body, an ND filter, which essentially just darkens the image without changing some exposure settings, so your video can actually look good
in like bright daylight.
Absolutely. Your SD card, your batteries, because you have to have more than one batteries. It's just not wise to go shoot without
just one.
That's just no. And then we look at the stabilizers. That's 6 things that we already had to rent, and we have not even moved a muscle other than going to the rental place.
Yeah, exactly.
So this also roughly comes around like $400 at least, with like camera body, lens, and like all the other things that you needed to buy to be able to shoot this video, even if you just get like a glide cam rented. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's interesting because you go to a couple of clients and I understand like their stores are or you know, restaurants or whatever. They're smaller scale, right? And so they sell, let's say, like $3 coffees. And like we totally understand that's what your product is, but at the same time, this is like our product, and we have not even been paid for our time being out there shooting, going out there, and then having a computer that's strong enough to edit all this footage. Yeah. The software that is that we can use, which is either you buy like an outright $800 or $400 software, or you subscribe to it yearly
and you
and
pay
monthly
a monthly fee
of like $40 to like $70.
Yeah.
Because you have to have the editing software.
Yeah. And there's multiple editing softwares when you're a photographer and videographer.
Absolutely.
Because then you got Lightroom. And then you have Adobe Premiere.
Photoshop, After Effects.
After Effects. Yeah.
Dude, like it all costs money. And a lot of people don't seem to understand that there's this
subscribing to like music channels or music websites so you can get some royalty-free tracks, some good ones so you can use in your projects.
I use 2. Actually, for my YouTube, because that's my personal baby. I use Epidemic Sound.
Yes,
$15 a month roughly, or 21, whatever it is. Not too much. For all my corporate stuff, I use Soundstripe, which is another music.
I haven't heard of that one.
They're amazing because what Epidemic Sound does is they have a standard YouTube license.
Yeah.
So you can get music.
Yes.
But you cannot use that music on other people's videos.
Yes.
With Soundstripe, I can tell it what I'm going to do with that song, and it's just going to let me do it.
Oh, that's amazing. Because with Epidemic Sound, there is a subscription fee that you can use it for like contract work and use it on other people's
Do you know
videos.
how much that is?
I don't know how much.
It is $150 per month.
Oh.
If you want to use a track, so you just have like one corporate client and their like video needs a song, you can purchase a one-time song for one video use only.
Yeah.
For $100, which is about 135 Canadian. So if we transfer that onto like a multi-video project, let's say you need like 2 or 3 30-second spots for your Instagram page.
Yeah.
You have to buy 3 songs for like each of your videos. That's $390. No, that's almost $400 just in music licensing.
Yeah.
We haven't got a camera. We haven't got editing software. I haven't even showed up, and I haven't even edited anything.
Yeah.
And you're already looking at $400.
No work has been done, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, let's say you go on to Soundstripe, and that's why I chose Soundstripe. I pay about $500 Canadian per year, which seems like a lot. However, I get unlimited music for any of my corporate projects. Which is
where we are right now. Like it's way more important to have music for your professional side than your personal side. Because honestly, YouTube music for your YouTube channel, you can get free ones out of anywhere. There's so many sites, there's so many channels within YouTube that offer free tracks and everything. And, you know, the production value of those tracks doesn't have to be that great because, again, it's just a vlog, right? It's just a YouTube, a personal channel. You don't have to blow people's minds with your soundtrack, right? It's not, you're not scoring a film here.
It does help retain the audience, though.
It helps, absolutely. But you're not scoring a film here, right? You're not doing that. Mostly people use it just to, we need a montage shot. Right, to kind of pepper in from the talking head portions, we need to do away with that, and there's got to be some soundtrack in the background. So we're gonna use some hip hop, the hybrid with some like remixes in the background, right? some chill vibes. It's like it's kind of it's paint by numbers now.
Yeah.
Right. So music for clients is just more important because it has to sound better.
It does.
Right?
They're paying for it. They're demanding.
They're demanding that it sounds better. Yeah. So again, it's all about that fucking demand.
Absolutely.
Right? The upping the price is not necessarily that you want to get paid more. Obviously, your rate also will inflate with the years.
Your talent, your years of schooling, your years of practicing, your years of just like devoting your skills to actually get them to a level where it's on par with other filmmakers that are your direct competitors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That needs to be paid.
Yes.
Exactly. You go to business school and you want to get a diploma and you want to make money, and people pay you bigger bucks because you went and you have skills and you have you have
a piece of paper saying that you can do
did
what you do. You did it. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. It's no different in filmmaking or photography. The only difference is that our paper is our product. What we show in our portfolio is what you will get. And the matter of the fact is that you have to understand that what you see, you like it, you bat an eye on it, you're like, okay, that looks cool, that grabbed my attention. But there is so many different components, not just on the gear side, but also on the personal side of developing those skills, understanding the composition techniques, understanding lighting, which is the biggest freaking one that separates amateur from professional.
Yeah. And sound. Sound. It's like light and sound is a big thing.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what video. That's all video is light and sound. Right? So
Absolutely.
It's like, in short, it's what it is. But people sometimes focus so much on one aspect, and then they forget the other. Right? Some people focus more on light, and they forget the sound. Or
totally.
Then you focus on sound, then you forget the light aspect. Right?
You gotta be balanced.
Yes.
You gotta have to know it all, which is why it costs a significant amount to some businesses, which I totally understand. Like $1,000 for video could be big. You know what I mean? Like
I can understand being big as the artist, being like, wow, $1,000, that's a lot of money, right?
You can buy a used car on Kijiji for that.
Yeah, and then you just drive that shit like fucking, all year for at least 3 years.
Solid 3 months.
Solid 3 months. No, you can drive for a couple of years, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right. And it's a drivable car. You can go to work. There's a lot more that you can do, but you can say that about lots of other things that cost the same amount of money.
Absolutely.
But you can do more with it, right? You can buy a phone. You're going to do a lot more with the phone than with the video service, right?
Yeah.
But the main thing is that, like what we've been discussing, is that the money doesn't necessarily go to us. It's not that we want. I want to get paid more now. That's why I'm upping my price. No,
absolutely.
It's because I need either better gear or, most often, people. I actually need bodies, professionals to be there on set, helping you with the process, helping you and me with the process. And people cost money.
Absolutely,
they're the most expensive thing is a helping hand, right?
Oh.
Hiring somebody is super expensive because you got to pay a person now, not just like buy something that you can just put in your backpack, a lens, and then I don't have to use it right now, so fuck it, I'll get my use out of this money later. A person. You have to pay them, okay?
Yeah.
You have to pay people. Nobody works for free. If somebody's listening to this right now and they're in the stage of working for free, you need to stop that shit.
I think there's value in working for free. When you're starting out, like free to fee is what I've been kind of like doing when I started out as a photographer, filmmaker. Like I had no portfolio.
Yeah.
I had no like real practice hours. Yeah. And in that case, I would say,
how we start when we're self-taught, that's all of us at the beginning.
Absolutely.
Because I didn't go to school for this. I went to school for radio and journalism, right? Which now you're able to use those skills for sound, which is very 100%. Vital, right? But we didn't go to school for the video portion, for how to elicit an emotion by a proper angle and lighting and all the composition,
how to direct, come up with a script.
Exactly, script writing, all that kind of stuff, right? All this stuff is like self-taught. So I understand that at the beginning you're not going to have a portfolio. You're not going to have You're not going to have stuff to show. And you're going to have to work, in quotations, doing quotations here, you're going to have to work for free. But I say work in quotes because I don't consider those first gigs work. I consider them, if you do it right, I consider them just collabs, right?
Yeah.
If you do it right, you are still getting something out of it. You're not just getting, oh, I got to shoot somebody today out of it.
Absolutely.
You're still getting some kind of like community exposure, or you know that person is going to link you up with like bigger people in the industry, and then you're gonna get paid. Absolutely. But it's just that there's not a vibe of work though to those.
Absolutely.
Usually you're shooting somebody that you know, it's a friend that he owns a business and he could use the help, and you have the camera, so you are going to help that friend. And the friend, because he is a friend, true friends will pay you at least a small significant amount. Right?
Absolutely.
To tell you, like, I appreciate your work. Here's something.
Absolutely.
Right? Here is something. Right? It's just the fact that if you work for free, you will never get paid.
And people won't take you seriously.
People won't take you seriously. Exactly. People won't take you seriously either.
And that's a hard hurdle to come across, especially from a starter, like filmmaker, photographer perspective, because if you are wanting to pursue this as a career, if you want to pursue this as, hey, this is what I want my full-time job to be, then you need to be taken seriously. You can't be just kind of like waddled around.
No.
And I think there are two things that go into this. One is like your skill, what you offer on the table.
Yeah.
That could be your skills with the camera, your skills in editing, your style is a very big one.
Yeah.
But then also having that boundary system set up. I got a message last night from a person that once they hired me and then they didn't end up paying. They just ended up like snaking away.
Yeah.
I hate it. But they messaged me up again and they were like, hey, I want to be shooting like some movie stuff with you. And it's like, okay, what are your ideas and what is your budget?
Yeah.
And that's exactly how I started this conversation.
That's how you should start any conversation when people ask
Absolutely.
you, like, I got this idea for a video. It's just like, okay, so what's the idea and what is your budget? That's the main thing.
We need to know what we were working with.
You know, because most of the times the client's idea does not match their budget.
No.
Right? Their ideas are just skyrocketing, right?
Oh, I want a drone shot. I want a waterfall.
Okay?
I want like this
I want
explosion.
like a staff of 50 people. I want
Absolutely.
catering as well.
What's your budget? $50.
Yeah, I got about $50. It's like, man, are you serious right now? All right, so or they give you the, I got $1,000, which
Sure.
again, it's like it's a lot of money. If I'm shooting the video with just me and you,
Yep.
and then the video is a super easy concept that is just the subject is the artist, and we're shooting kind of like one location, or the locations are just like super close. There's no traveling time. It's the most simplistic video like budget that you could have. I
Absolutely.
think is like $1,000 for two people to be shooting, because that's two people right there.
Yes.
Right. Already bringing double amount of gear. Right. Because when we do music videos shoots. When we shoot music videos together, we bring like so much gear between the two of us.
We both bring our $3,000 camera each, which is not to like shine our horns or anything.
No, it's just that there's like sometimes like $7,000, like just
at least
$7,000 at least in our backpacks there at the shoot
per person.
Right?
So now we're talking, okay, $14,000 worth of gear. And we haven't even shot a single scene yet. Nothing.
Because we own it, then there's no problem. We can shoot some other day if things don't go right.
Yeah.
But if you don't own this gear and things don't go right in the shoot, which by the way happens all the time.
Totally.
That's why reshoots are a thing.
Absolutely.
Even in Hollywood, there's so many reshoots because sometimes shit doesn't work right, and then you have to call people and shoot it again.
Avengers Endgame, prime example. Dude, Robert De Niro Jr. had to reshoot certain scenes, and it was just like, oh my gosh, like we thought that he was just done with the movies. He had to came back.
Yeah, because it happens. Because there's so many things outside of your control that can happen when you shoot video, right?
Oh, 100%.
So many things can go wrong with video. So many things that reshoots happen. But we don't have that luxury of reshoots, like us videographers, right? Not directors. We don't have. Although at a music video, we're exercising the work of directors.
Oh, absolutely,
100%. We're not just holding the camera and people are telling us what to do. We're like, okay, stand here. I think this shot will work better. The emotion is here. Scrap that. Come, like we're directing there on site.
Absolutely,
right? So we don't have the luxury of reshoots because for clients. In our field, right, that's super to them unprofessional that we weren't able to get a certain shot.
on
right?
the first try.
On the first try, with one take.
Absolutely.
But just because that's fine, just because they don't understand the process, that it requires several takes to make something look good.
Absolutely.
Always.
I remember that in like even radio school when we were voicing spots, we would reread the same line, which was just like maybe like 1 to 3 words, but the emphasis, the way that you deliver it, your volume, your articulation, like all of these things are all going into just one take.
Yeah.
And that needs to be perfect.
Yeah.
Because if it's not perfect, you can hear it, you can see it, you can feel it, and you'll hate it.
Yeah, you hate it right away. It's like it's a split second to notice when something is not looking the way it should look, and then you don't take it seriously for the rest of the video.
No.
Right? So where we are right now, we have to acquire a bunch of gear.
Yeah.
Right. We have to do work of not just videographers holding the camera, but also directors to coach people on how they should look in front of the camera and what kind of shots look best.
We produce these videos.
We got to produce these videos, right? And we don't have the luxury of reshooting anything, right? It's always just like one day shoots, and we got to nail everything on that day, which is why always the days are so long, right? We don't do shoots of like 4 hours, 3 hours, because
that's just not a thing.
It's not a thing
Unless you want like a 30-second highlight reel.
Yeah, something like that, exactly. So when you put that all together. Yeah, $1,000 does not sound like a lot.
No,
it doesn't. It doesn't at all. And then you have to add the fact that photographers and videographers. One of the reasons why people think that specifically photographers for wedding, because wedding is the big bucks, right, of this kind of industry.
Huge.
People think that the prices are too inflated, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is a reason beyond what we talked about. Is the fact that you don't shoot weddings Monday to Friday, right? You don't
shoot weddings Saturday and Saturday.
You shoot weddings Saturday, 3 months out of the year, right? Or 4 months, or whatever, how many weddings you get.
Yeah.
You shoot like one a month, or if for us, because we're just starting the game. Obviously, the more accomplished photographers, even like Dave, I bet his
Warren
schedule.
Leonard Media, he just keeps on going.
He kills it. Yeah, he kills it with like scheduling and making sure that he's got work coming constantly and lots of weddings and everything. But when you're starting, and even if you're not just starting, there's some times that you just shoot a wedding like every couple months.
Absolutely.
Right? How can you pay bills if you're going to shoot one wedding
for $500
every couple months for $500 or $1,000? It doesn't correlate to what we're doing
100%.
here. And this kind of work is not steady work. It's not.
No, it's
because of that amount goes, the amount of downtime where we don't have work gets added to the bill. I mean, we don't do it yet because we are still just starting. So I have another job, right? I have a full-time job. You have another job as well. So the bills are getting paid, and like I mentioned before, the money goes straight to gear.
Back into gear.
Right? But a lot of photographers don't have that luxury.
Totally.
Of having a second job.
Totally.
They don't. And how are you supposed to live off of working, 4 times or 5 times a year? Mm-hmm. And when you're just getting paid like $1,000.
I think what's also interesting is, one thing is that you're paying for these skills, you're paying for the gear, but also with weddings, there comes a whole other aspect, which is the environment. Yeah. And what I mean by that is you always constantly have one chance to get the shot. Maybe during the getting ready parts, you have a couple of minutes to okay, let's do this again.
And let's do this
exactly.
Again. This didn't work. Let's should do this again. That didn't work. And on the part of like the family photos, when it's your time to take some family photos, and
absolutely,
and I can pull people aside. It's like, hey, let's do this creative take I got in my mind. It should work.
Yeah,
which is vital that we do that because of the one takes of not working. Because the sun is shining right and directly on the groom's face.
Absolutely,
right, because it's an outdoor wedding and there's no canopy or whatsoever.
No,
right. So
the sun is just beating down, and that's the other thing too.
It's fucking stressful,
dude.
It's the most stressful thing ever to know that I only got one shot here.
Well, and this is where a lot of people bring up the argument is like, you guys are professionals, you guys should have this on lockdown. But in reality, we have one chance per wedding to get the first kiss.
Yeah,
the first initial clapping with them kissing in the center.
The center, yeah.
There's
the altar.
one freaking opportunity to get that, and it doesn't last forever.
No.
So I think
You can't fuck that up.
You cannot.
Like the first kiss is like the one thing
That's
that you
vital.
cannot. You can almost like. You cannot record a lot of stuff because with the B-roll that we shoot prior, we can, you know, edit it out, and a lot of the stuff that I record, like, I mean, dude, the Jenny and John's wedding,
yes.
It was 600 videos.
Oh, I saw.
600 videos because of the tea ceremony was very long, so that's why there was more
Yeah.
videos. But like, you're not watching through all that stuff. You're just grabbing like
key
this,
points.
like this, don't
Yeah.
like this, like this. So you're able to really edit together. But the first kiss needs to
You
be
cannot,
present. You cannot add that into the video.
And see, this is where a lot of frustrations come for me. Not like stupidly breaking frustrations, but people who are not necessarily hired for these events, but they think that they just come in and shoot, and they're just gonna give the groom and the bride their photos, and they always come into the shot. And I call them Uncle Bobs.
We're talking about the Uncle Bobs
Yes.
of weddings. Yes.
Because
Yes.
here's the thing.
Oh man, they're the bane of my existence.
I love the enthusiasm of these people of going out and purchasing said $3,000 camera, plus a lens or whatever. But the fact that they're not hired to shoot that. So there's a team that's working on this
Yeah.
wedding that are used to working with together. Like you and I, for example, like
Yeah.
we know exactly where we are, how we're wanting to frame this, and then if for whatever reason one of us is in the other one's way, then we are able to kind of maneuver around. And like for me,
Because we're constantly paying attention. I'm constantly paying attention where you are, and you're constantly paying attention where I am.
vice versa, yeah.
So, and that's all we're trained to do, and that's all what we should be trained to do. Is like, where's Benza? He's there. I'm in his shot. Move
Yeah,
it back, and
absolutely.
you the same thing. We should not have to be worrying about a third party in the mix that I also have to keep my eye on to see where this fucking guy is. And like, dude, the first wedding that we shot,
Yeah.
it was what's the female version of Uncle Bob? Because it was women. Like,
I don't want
Aunt
to.
May.
Aunt May. I almost said Rita, but I also know Rita, and I don't want to offend her.
yeah, right. It's like a name of somebody we don't know.
Tiffany.
It's Tiffany. Yeah,
That's it.
Fucking Tiffany. Anyways, so Tiffany is over there
Yeah.
behind me. So the shot. Let me explain the shot first. So
Sure.
the bride is coming in with her father, right?
Yes.
And the groom is waiting there, and she's like
Super
crying and
adorable,
everything.
by the way.
Great couple. And I'm walking backwards, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm getting a tracking shot of them approaching me with the camera.
Right.
Now I'm always quickly glancing back every now
Shoulder check.
right? Shoulder check just to make sure that I'm not gonna walk off a stage,
Yeah.
right, or into a tree. But I'm always shoulder checking, right?
Totally.
But sometimes, of course, I'm like, I got a glide cam, which is not as steady as a gimbal, and
Absolutely.
I'm having to look at my shot to make sure that it's steady, and I have to make sure that my hands are steady as well on the glide cam, and at the same time, I have to look back it's a lot of
You
shit
gotta make
to
sure,
do.
yeah.
It's a lot of shit to do, right? But so sometimes I'm focused on the thing that matters the most is the tiny LCD screen in front of me to make sure that shit's in focus and frame right and
Totally.
everything. And sometimes gotta hope for the best that nobody's behind me, and I'm expecting nobody to be behind me because we're walking down the aisle, right?
Yes.
Everybody should be sitting the fuck down, right? Right. Well, I guess no. The bride comes in, everybody stands up, right?
Totally.
But they should stand up in front of their seats, right? Don't move into the aisle to grab your photo because I'm there, the bride is there, like everything is there. So. Yeah, somebody was behind me, and I'm walking with the camera, and then in the nick of time, I look back, and I'm able to see this woman holding a huge iPad. Right?
Oh my gosh. It's not even a camera,
So it's
is
not
it?
even a camera. It's not even a camera. A huge iPad. And I almost collide with her, and we almost come crashing down. Like, can you imagine that? Like, our first wedding, and then I come crashing down with the camera, and then
It was a beautiful location too.
Exactly.
So like, it would
with
just
the bride,
ruin everything.
with the bride right there with her father, it would ruin everything. Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, like, obviously, I could get up, and there would be a moment of laughter, and the couple was super nice. They would probably just shrug it off and everything. But,
Totally.
dude, no. Like, I'm working here. This
Absolutely.
is my job.
Yes.
I am working here. Like, I'm not coming to your job and slapping whatever you do. Like, I was gonna make a really mean joke here, but I'm not. It's
Don't.
like, yeah, I'm not gonna make a mean joke. But
No, but that's exactly it. So like you are in this work environment and all these people around you are coming in, and like I totally get it. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, unless of course you get the diva divorce and then you have to remarry. But that's just a whole other story to begin with.
yes, that's for another podcast.
Totally. But if you are there and you see that these photographers have been hired, because I've seen wedding pictures where there were no photographers. And I totally understand that if a couple does not have a budget for a photographer.
Yeah, then bring Uncle Bob and Aunt May and whoever you want.
Tiffany, just the whole gang.
Yeah, Tiffany, the whole gang. Bring like the whole fucking gang with their fucking pop-up flash cameras or like
Absolutely.
iPads. Like, it's fine, right?
Totally. But when there are professionals present, I think it's very important for people to understand that like you mentioned, you have to pay attention to the LCD screen. You have to pay attention to the focus. You have to pay attention to the steadiness.
Yeah.
You have to pay attention to your way, which, by the way, you have to shoulder check because you're walking backwards.
Yeah.
And on top of that, there's only one time that this bride is going to walk
down this aisle.
She's not going to go back and be like, here,
let's do it again.
That's not going to happen.
No.
So you have all these factors, and people need to understand that that's already kind of a lot of things for one person only, because you're just a videographer at this point.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for anyone to pay attention to that many things.
It's super.
And never mind the fact that you have to worry about another human being coming up with their iPad or their cameras and coming right into a shot. And I know that a lot of photographers and videographers experience even working with other teams. Like there needs to be a lot of synchronization.
Yeah.
I was going on Instagram and I found one of my friend Cameron Allen's Instagram story, and he has his own business doing exactly just that. He's doing wedding videos, and he's absolutely like one of the most talented dudes I've ever met. And he has this company, Twisted Filmworks, and he was hired to do a wedding as a videographer. And this couple brought in a like a fashion world famous whatever photographer. This man has gone into almost, it looked like every single vital shot that Cameron had to take. And I know Cameron, he has like a beefy setup, so he has multiple cameras on the same thing.
Nice, yeah.
But like that's exactly it. Like he's a videographer.
Like something that I'd like in the future for a future wedding. Something that I definitely want to have.
Absolutely.
For video, several cameras.
It needs to be a thing because there will be that a-hole who's gonna walk into your shot and he's not even gonna pay attention the next time, because this dude, Cameron, actually recorded multiple takes of this dude walking in the shot, not caring. And it was like one of those moments where like the bride and groom look at each other at the altar and they're just like super excited. And all you see is this guy with his freaking Nikon strap right in the middle. He was bald. He was wearing sunglasses indoors, like just the worst kind of human being.
The worst kind of guy. I hate him already.
Absolutely. His name was probably Todd.
Yeah.
And he was just like his ex-fashion photographer. I don't know. I don't want to like jib the guy too much, but
it's disrespectful.
It's disrespectful.
To me, I find it extremely disrespectful because, and not just to us, but to the couple as well. Like
Absolutely.
They paid us some significant amount of money here. That we're not talking about like, client $1,000 work here. We're talking about a wedding shoot.
$1,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. They paid us some good money to be here, and goddamn it, I want to give them some good content, right?
Absolutely.
And again, I can't as I deliver the video do a PS, sorry for Uncle Bob constantly in the frame. Like I can't do that.
You cannot do that.
I can't. And there's before Jenny and John's wedding, we shot, I forget the name of the couple now.
That's okay.
Was it Dara and Nicole? I don't.
But they were outside of Calgary.
Yes, they're outside of Calgary, and it was time to cut the cake, right?
Oh my gosh, I remember this.
And then you had a 135, right? A long lens, which requires you to be far from the subject, so you can compress the background, and everything looks just super sharp and great.
Yes.
But that's the problem. You have to stay far to take that shot. And then when they're cutting the cake, there was a rush of photographers, of family photographers, surrounded the couple.
Yeah.
And
like paparazzis almost.
Yeah, but like paparazzis basically.
Yeah.
Exactly. Dude, it was flash after flash.
Oh my gosh.
And like they're getting in my way. I bet you couldn't get a single goddamn shot.
I actually got a couple.
Nice, dude.
Yes.
Nice. Dude, I'm like there and I'm like,
trying to dodge everything.
Trying to dodge people with my camera.
And we're the ones who are getting paid.
Yeah. And I'm just, dude, I was losing it at the time. Losing it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I really just want to go to the microphone and be like, excuse me, this is the photographer speaking. I just want to ask the family members and the people out there to just wait to take the photos after we're done taking our photos, because it is what the couple wants more, right? It's our photos, right?
Absolutely. That's why they paid us.
Yeah, that's why they pay us. So please just wait. We're not going to take long. We're professionals. We're in, we're out, we're done.
That's it.
Okay?
But we need our time.
But we need our time. So, wait.
Also, bless those.
Also, the owner of the Black Mazda, please move your vehicle. It's about to get killed.
Although I gotta give respect to all those people that do announce, hey, we have photographers on site. Please hold your photography or whatever.
I wish people did that more often at weddings. Absolutely.
Totally.
Or like, if you see that they're doing their shots, don't be in the way, because there's a lot of downtime for us, man. There's a lot of us, like, we're sitting around waiting for wait for the next portion to come in, and then we walk up. Take your photos then when we're sitting down.
Absolutely.
Like, I understand that the reason why they're taking the photos when we're taking the photos is because those are the moments.
That's why we're hired.
Those are the moments. But that's why we're hired.
Yes.
Okay. That's why we're hired. So sit the fuck down, Uncle Bob. Okay. Push that little pop-up flash back into your camera because it's not doing anything. Okay. All right. And fucking let me shoot this couple. God damn it. Anyway, so a little bit. If you're an Uncle Bob out there,
just hold your photos until they're done.
Photos until the end, please, please. It's like like old school plays. Like, hold the applause until the end, until everything is done, then you can applaud. Hold those fucking photos. The reception, people are happy, and there's lots of emotion there, and we're not there anymore because our day's done. Take those photos then. Right?
Absolutely.
They're dancing, they're smiling, they're laughing. It's perfect and everything. Take the photos that when they're the first kiss and everything else from your seat.
Absolutely. Just enjoy the moment. And
enjoy
that's
the
other
moment.
thing too.
Yeah, exactly. Also, taking photos from your seat adds a great, you dirty the frame with the guests there. You can actually
adds depth.
Adds depth to it. It adds something to it. Actually, I love dirtying the frame and shooting between people and getting
Me too.
the subject.
It's one of my good techniques.
I love it. I love it. So do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sit down.
But sit down.
Absolutely. I think regardless whether we just go on and rant about the fact that yes, gear is expensive, we need to be paid. Your $50 budget or your $150 budget is not going to cut it, because a camera body on its own, if we didn't have it.
Dude, somebody once offered me $60 and a drink to shoot like a silent disco event.
Nice.
The event is nice. But that's that price. And here's the thing:
$60 in a drink. What drink are we talking?
$60. What drink? I don't know, rum and coke. Or
okay,
I don't know.
all right.
Like one drink.
Oh, just a singular one.
Just one drink, not like I'm gonna buy you a drink so the night so you have fun. No, it's just like, how's $60 and like I'll buy you a drink or a couple of drinks there. And then that's when I was like, okay, dude, I'm just gonna let you know my daily rate here
is this.
And then, dude, right away it's like, oh shit, we don't have the budget for that.
So to make it, I had to make it mine so that I can buy the camera.
Dude, let me tell you something. If you don't have the budget of because that was just a half day rate.
Yeah.
If you don't have a budget for a half day rate for a full video, you don't have a budget for shit. I'm sorry, dude. You don't have a budget for anything. Good luck promoting your event.
Absolutely.
Good luck promoting your event in any way other than, the posters, the flyers with who's playing and what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you're going to promote the event, because everything in this fucking world costs money. Everything does. Everything does. Don't do shit for free. Dude, have sex for free. And even that's not entirely free.
Absolutely.
And I'm not talking just prostitutes here. I'm talking like relationships. They cost not just money. There's a cost to everything in this life. That's my point. So charge people.
Yes.
Charge people. If you nothing's free, and like you got to pay the fucking bills too.
But also at the same time, when you charge this money, you also are at the place where you are either investing in yourself. You're either investing in your craft, your gear, but also from like a business's perspective, you're investing in your business.
Yeah.
Like this is something that you can A, write off, and B, this is something that's going to elevate your current situation to the next level, right?
Yes.
So at the end of the day, just understand the fact that you cannot get away with like free stuff. It's just not the same.
It's funny that we're talking about this, but JD, if he's listening, what's up, JD? JD made a post on Twitter that he lost one of his corporate clients.
Okay.
Because they found somebody who could do it for free. He posted like the little snippet of the email, like, unfortunately, we found somebody who could do the day for free. Dude, that is
disgusting.
That is so fucking upsetting. So upsetting. Like, I wish I could know who it was so I could punch him in the face. Okay? Because, dude, my motto is that you can work under any budget, absolutely.
But there has to be a budget.
But there has to be a budget, and the budget should reflect the expectations, right? So
absolutely.
If you have a small budget, your expectations, I'm sorry, but they have to be lowered as well. Mm-hmm. Like, either not for quality, but for time. You're not going to get like a fucking 5-minute video of whatever you're trying to sell. If you're paying people like, $250 or $500, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
What you can have is like a 30-second or 40-second promo for that kind of budget, right?
Sure.
But there's a budget. If you manage, I always tell clients when I know that they're on a tighter budget, mm-hmm. I always tell clients that if you can manage your expectations, I can manage the budget. I always say that. I say that. I can manage the budget, but you have to manage your expectations for the shoot. What do you have? And I ask, what do you want for this? And then when they say it, I tell them, this is what I can do for this price.
Totally.
Is that okay? No? Then good luck, and I hope you find somebody who can do it. No, it's sincerely, and I'm not doing it. I don't say it in like a spiteful, bitter way that, oh my God, they didn't go for my service. No, I legit like, thank you, because professionalism is everything in this. Right?
And respect and professionalism is huge.
And I appreciate just people approaching me trying to ask for rates and everything, because a couple years ago that wasn't even a thing yet, right?
There you go.
So I value like that already. But yeah, there's budgets and there's expectations, and they gotta meet in the middle.
Absolutely.
In the middle.
Absolutely. I think it's super interesting because now that I'm like moving more and more and more into just like essentially having my schedule completely freaking filled with shooting, which is amazing. Like, I'm so blessed to have that sort of opportunity. But I had a company approach me. Actually, no, I approached them because I saw their like Facebook ad that they're looking for a content creator, videographer. So I was like, okay, dope, I'll apply. So we had an interview, and then we sat down. We loved each other's stuff. Great, amazing. And then they just disappeared, like completely disappeared. And then it did. Here's the twist, though. A year later, I get a message from one of these people, and they're asking like, am I able to do some videos for them? And I was like, yeah, like I'm absolutely more than open to do it.
Yeah.
I just didn't get any kind of communication back, like what was happening. And that's the other thing too, is with clients and with working with people, there needs to be a very solid line of communication from both parties. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It can't be one-sided. It's like a relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need to communicate to me if there's something that you want or something that you no longer want. Because that's just general respect.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so we are going to we're sitting down, and I have to create like a 4 video like little project for them, or 4 or 5 video little project, and I was like really starting at that time too, so I was willing to take it at a very low budget, just exactly how we talked about it in the beginning.
Yeah.
They mentioned it to me that they didn't go with me initially because they found someone for free. Now, this is the hilarious part, though. This person made one video, and they liked it. Mm-hmm. But then after, when they needed to finish up the remaining of these videos, the person disappeared, and they never heard from them ever again.
Well, because that's what you get.
Well, and that's exactly
work. There's no commitment.
No.
There's no commitment, because people need to understand that money is what traps us into making sure this shit is good. Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If I'm doing free work,
I have nothing to gain or lose.
I couldn't care less about this because it's free.
Absolutely.
There is no responsibility to it, right?
Yep.
There's no repercussions, because nobody can say, well, I paid you to do this. Like, no, you didn't. So like, I'll do whatever the fuck I want.
Yes.
Right? So, but you get what you pay for. And to me, it's a little bit of ha, because
it was funny, for sure.
Karma. It's karma.
Now, given the fact these guys are actually like, there was a faulty egg in this company, and he's no longer there.
Yeah, okay.
And so the owner came back and like personally apologized to me for how this whole situation has been handled, which I respected. That is respectful communication from them to me, and I totally respect it. So of course I gave my 110% at the time with the tools and the skills that I had, and I created some videos for them, and they loved it. For the time being, I think they were decent enough. Obviously, I just actually did another project for them, like another photo and video project, and like it looks elevated because my skills have developed since then. My gear has developed since then, and I just know so much more.
You're a seasoned photographer now.
Absolutely, I'm like double barbecue.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing too, is like now I'm charging them, and they're willing to pay that price because they know exactly what they're going to be getting, and they understand it from my perspective. And I think it's just super important for people to understand. Budgets are important.
Yeah. Communication as well.
Exactly. Investing in yourself and investing in people. Communicating with other people is vital. And being generally respectful. Because if you disrespect me, even if it's in a professional matter, and I will call you on it, I will still maintain to be professional, but I will not have the exact same attitude going into that scenario after you have just told me off.
Well, yeah, it ruins things a bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're all human, right? So it's easy to say that we all want to forgive and forget, but it's harder to do.
Nobody really forgets.
Nobody forgets. You forgive because that's the easy part,
Yeah.
because you want to maintain a relationship, but people don't forget, man.
No, they don't.
People don't forget.
Although, I mean, sometimes it's I find it sometimes hard to forgive, but at the end of the day, like that's what you as a genuine good-hearted business person do. Like you forgive them.
Yeah.
And so I guess if there's anything to this podcast today, it's that you should be a decent human being.
Yes.
You should pay people if you expect great quality, because that's like you don't go to any store and then accept things for free. It's just not a thing.
No.
So invest in yourself, invest in others, and don't be a piece of shit.
Yeah, and don't be an Uncle Bob. Just put those cameras down. Sit down. We're working here.
All right. I'm hungry. You want to go get food?
I'm pretty hungry too.
All right. Well, then let's go
get some food. All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. See you next time. Or you hear us next time.